Hello, hello. I am UnknownSlate, and before we get into my thinking, I want to have you do 3 quick challenges. Now, I hope these challenges aren't that hard, because in my head, they are quite simple. I want you in your head to say, I love myself. I then want you to say it out loud. And lastly, I want you to go to a mirror, look at yourself dead in the eyes, and say, I love myself. Today's topic, or my thought process, is about love. And I feel that if you do not have a balance between how you love yourself and how you love others, you will end up with this problem of being either too selfish or too selfless, which can lead to very unhealthy things, unhealthy thinking, and you can get stuck in a relationship. But what is love? And why do we seek it? Well, I think we seek love because we are social beings. Love itself is created by, I don't know, maybe chemicals in our brain or neurons that just fire off in a certain part of our brain that gives us this sense of belonging, the need and want to be social with one another. And that need doesn't always have to be romantically. It can be friendly, familiar, with family and all that. And we have to cherish that. But I feel like for you to ever start that and keep it healthy, you have to love yourself first. So, if those challenges were hard, I want you to practice saying that to yourself. And if you quite literally cannot, I want you to think, why can't I love myself? Is it because of things that are limiting you? Is it because of your appearance that you may feel bad for? Did somebody say something rude to you or downplay how you look? Well, it's easier said than done, but I wish you could just throw that out of the window. Because those people, those thoughts you are having, should not have control on what you think on yourself. Because at the end of the day, when you are by yourself, sleeping, or maybe with a loved one sleeping, you are left alone with your own thoughts. And you are the only one who truly knows how you feel. So you should be able to say that you love yourself. That shouldn't be limited by somebody else. Now, why is the topic of love on my mind right now? Well, I tend to be listening to music, and there's this one song called I'm Not in Love by 10cc. It came out, I think, like around in May of like 1975. Obviously, I'm not that old. I'm not an unk, but I do enjoy that song a lot. It's most likely one of my top 5 songs. It's like one of the songs that can like just get me in a mood, either sad or happy. But I'm always just like thinking of somebody in that song, and I kind of just realized that like I never think about myself in that song. Obviously, the lyrics in that song don't really target it towards yourself, but I just never do. And I think it's important that we should be thinking of ourselves so that we can better look out for others at the exact same time. Because if we are stuck in this limbo of just seeking love and not healthily doing it will end up being destroyed the moment the person that we are trying to seek love from, either romantically, family, or friends, will just be destroyed because you're just stuck. All this effort you may have put in a relationship is just gone because that person didn't want to like increase that. They didn't want to put in back the work that you added. So that's why I feel that you should be selfish at times, but you also have to know when to be selfless to keep the relationships healthy. It has to be a balance of the both. Now, don't get me wrong. As of right now, I've never been in a relationship. I don't think, at least, unless somebody just thinks they're in a relationship with me. But as of right now, I have not, that I know of, been in a relationship. And I feel that at times it's because I haven't loved myself. I would maybe get signs here and there that these people want a larger relationship, either romantically or just as friends. But I'd just never pick up on them, or I'd be shy. Since I've been young, or since I was young, I have been a shy person. It's quite literally just till recently that I've started coming out of my quote-unquote shell. But I feel like for me to progress more and leave that shell entirely, I have to love myself. And it's easier said than done that, oh, if I do this, if I do that, I'll totally love myself. I'll totally be able to do this, or I'll know what to do, blah, blah, blah. But what happens when you reach that point where you enjoy or you want to enjoy something because you worked for it, but you still don't love yourself? Maybe the journey wasn't worth it in your eyes. And that's why I feel like it's important to love yourself through the bad times. Because if you can't love yourself through the bad times, how are you going to know for sure that you're going to love yourself through the good times? And that's why I feel that relationships are quite hard at times. Again, don't take this as advice, because I'm no therapist or anything. But people tend to just think if they give and give and give to somebody who may just be taking, it'll just work out, or the person will change, or anything. But people sometimes have to realize that you can say things, you can do anything in the world for somebody, but they have to change by themselves. And you owe it to yourself to not be the one person trying to help that person change for the greater good. Because who knows, maybe that person is content with how they're living and how they want to be like. That doesn't mean that you should exhaust yourself with this presumed image of this person that you want them to be. Because yeah, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Now, let me tell you some quick stories of my childhood where maybe I had a crush on somebody, and like I feel like a dummy because like I still don't even know, because I feel like they did give me signs, or like the cliche signs that they maybe liked me back, but I was just like a dum-dum, or I was just too shy to even know. Granted, I'm young, and I don't even know what's the point of love at that point. You know, the only love I can recognize is from my parents and my siblings. But I'd get the cliche of like the girl like hitting me really hard when I'd make a joke, or like she'd laugh and just quite literally beat the hell out of me, and I'd be like, oh, man, this hurts, man, this hurts. And people say that's like a cliche of like somebody liking you if they kind of like just hit you while they're like laughing at a joke of yours or just talking. But I highly doubt I was a funny kid back then, or even now. So I don't know. I feel like that just added on to my insecurity of like, I don't even know if I like this girl anymore because she's just hitting on me, quite literally hitting on me, just hurting. Because like compared to me, I was like a small person back then compared to this girl, because she was just, I don't even know. If I really had to think how tall I was, let's just say that she was maybe like a foot taller than me. And yeah, she had way more force behind her punches. And I'm like, whoa, like I cannot handle all this. And I feel like I kind of distanced myself from her because of that. When perhaps, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even have pursued anything in that, because it was kind of like I just didn't even think she'd want to be friends if she just keeps on hitting me each time. Another time in the same school, I was performing at a theater. I think we were doing the Lion King. Yeah, we were performing the Lion King, and for some reason, I don't know, in my head at least, I think it was like the popular girl, but I honestly didn't know what the statuses of people in elementary school were. But she just like came up to me like after the theater like presentation of our like probably our horrendous acting finished up. We like had to stay outside like on some buses until our parents came to pick us up. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I just sit down pretty far in the back, just like waiting. And I don't know, this girl just comes up to me with her friend, sit next to me, and then her friend sits on like the aisle, kind of just like blockading us both, just in that one seat. I'm like, well, okay, this is kind of weird, but I'm just trying to still mind my own business. And then she just grabs my hand. Mind you, I have not talked to this girl at all. The most I've talked was maybe because of like a school project. I don't even know. To be fair, in school I was just known as like like the goody two shoes kid. So maybe I don't know. But she just grabs my hand, and I'm just frozen. I don't even know what I'm supposed to like. Am I supposed to like look back at her, or what was I supposed to do? But yeah, in that moment I just like froze, because I was like, what like what do I this wasn't in the rule book of my SpongeBob episode, so like I don't know, I was just stuck there. It felt like a moment of endless time, just being stuck staring, just like staring past the window. I wasn't even looking outside. I was just like staring into the abyss, because I just like was scared of what might happen next. And then luckily my parents come in and say, oh, is blah 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 in here? Is UnknownSlate in here? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm right here. I scurry off, and I haven't hardly told a soul of that. So maybe my parents saved me, or maybe they didn't. Maybe I missed out. But that wouldn't even have mattered, because I eventually moved from that school. And yeah, I'm mentioning these stories because sure, I was young, but even now, even like I'd say like a couple months back, I'm still like quite the, the cliche type of man to be like oblivious to when a woman will like maybe pursue somebody. Maybe they'll like try to change your style or like suggest things or set up something by themselves, and I don't know. I don't pick up on it until it's too late, and then I'm just stuck being like a dummy listening to that song. I'm like, whoa, man, it's like being like a hopeless romantic where it's like, man, I wonder where it could have gone if I had like agreed to something, if maybe I pushed back and had been selfish here and there, and also selfless. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's move away from the romantic side of love and pay attention more to like loving your friends and your family. Last time I was talking about being conscious and why people may feel this way or feel that way because of blah blah blah. But why do we have to, not have to, but like why do we love one another? These people sure have cared for us, but at times people can burn one another. Either just out of rage, another emotion that they're feeling, or just because of something that you did or they did. And then you end up saying something that hurts them and yourself, because now you're stuck in like a parallax of, man, I love this person, but now I just said something stupid that hurts them. And I feel that as humans, we tend to put up a front, especially when we get into arguments, that we are stronger, we are blah blah blah. But once somebody says something really hurtful to you or about somebody you care about, we tend to be sensitive to it, because those people are kind of like just like in our brain hardwired to be somebody that we actually care for, unless they do something horrendous or something to us, which can just break your heart. And I feel like being told something bad hurts the most when it comes from somebody you love, because it kind of just changes your outlook on them and further on yourself, because you love this person this much, but they didn't love you enough to tell you this, or to like protect you from like this thought that they were having about you. And now you get stuck thinking, man, am I really like this? And then you end up trying to change for somebody that maybe doesn't even want you to change. They just said that out of spite for no reason, other than their emotions were running high also. I am just trying to think in general, because I have this innate feeling that I love my family very much. And at times I feel like I am failing them here and there, because I just don't have the time, or I just can't be there enough. And I feel that people usually associate money and resources with showing love. And granted, my family is not perfect, and I highly doubt anybody else's is. But I can clearly say that I would take a bullet for them. I would do anything for them. And if I were to be rebirthed, or if that was even ever a thing, I wish I could be rebirthed in this timeline once again. In this finite timeline where I'm back with this family once again. Because though they've hurt me and I've hurt them here and there, they're still the people that I know and I love. My quote unquote ride or dies, the ones that were present to me once I was born. But sadly, some people don't get to say that. Some people don't have a family where, yeah, maybe it's bad here and there, but it's still generally good. Some people might have a family where they aren't really shown a good side of love. It could be a very toxic side of love of, oh, I bought you this, so you should love me. No matter how many times I may spank you or say mean things to you or berate you. And that's the problem, is that people sometimes associate love or the need to care with money or resources that at times are just basic needs for humans. That shouldn't be the only gratitude somebody has to show to somebody. I feel like, I keep on saying I feel like, but it's just what's rolling off my tongue right now. But I feel that in today's age, it is quite hard at times to really show somebody that you love them, because we do tend to just buy material things for people and be like, oh, well, I love you so much, and here you go. Here's this either expensive, cheap, whatever. But hey, it's the thought that counts, right? But the thought that counts is actually thinking of that person and being with them. Not thinking of, oh, they might like this. If you spend more time with them, you'd be like, oh, they'll definitely like this because I've been talking to them. I've been in their presence. We've been loving and nurturing each other's time. And I feel like that is lost today because we tend to be just stuck on media where we hardly ever see people love each other. It's usually people always disagreeing, arguing, and never showing like love. And when we do see love and oh, we heart it or whatever, it's like the bare minimum. And it's like, man, like are we serious right now? Thing is though, is the way to change that is not entirely to get rid of media or anything of that sort. I'm just using it as an example. But people have to spend more time with each other outside of their screens, outside of their material possessions, outside of just only dinner and outside of only dinner time or the doctor's visit. People actually have to spend time with the family they've created or that they were born into. Because then, yeah, you're just generating a kind of situationship where perhaps one party of the family wants to like hang out and have fun here and there, or just maybe not even have fun, just be in the presence of one another in just pure silence. But you know that person that you love is just there, and that brings you the sense of calmness. Personally, that's something that I desire, but at times it's hard to get because, you know, people want to do something else. But it is always just something that people want to connect with one another, but at times people are just busy, and time is never on our side. And once you realize it's too late, it is just quite literally too late. You could have spent more time with that person, but you didn't, or they didn't. And now you're stuck with who knows how many last moments you can have with that person, or generally people, depending on how many people you know, how many people you cherish, people that you actually want to spend time with in your one life. Oh, okay. I thought my game froze for a second. I do find it that people tend, or I don't know, maybe it's just in human nature and it just gets out in today's age where we can hide behind screens and everything. But people don't argue that much to argue. It's always just to put down somebody, or because you fact checked them or they fact checked you, now they're worthless. They're just nobody. Like like now you shouldn't even love yourself because you didn't do this. Or people will like just get mad at you or somebody else, and you're kind of just watching all this arguing conspire, but it's not even arguing when it's just like a hate thread upon one another. How to change that? I don't know. It's not like I can just change the chemical bondings of the human brain to go back to a time where we would argue more constructively and argue for something that can lead to something better and not only tear down each other. You're gonna hear me say in a lot of these videos because it takes me a while to conjure a line in my head. And by that I mean like just what I want to say. Because I feel like I have trouble at times thinking something and having it stuck in my head, but I portray it not as well when I try to say it, or it doesn't come out as right, and it sounds quite idiotic, or just like, that doesn't even make sense, you know? It's kind of why this channel is more like a practice to that. I want to be able to convey my message or my thoughts way better. And hopefully you do too. And I just fell down. I feel that the hate that is spread around at times can be a problem with self-love here and there. Granted, some people may just be doing it for the fun of it, just to make themselves feel better. But that shouldn't be the goal of everybody. Just because somebody finds supposedly their joy out of doing that doesn't mean you have to stoop down to their level. But how can we raise those people's levels higher? Because obviously those people are maybe going through something that makes them sad, and the only way that they can feel better about themselves is to tear down somebody else. But rather than use that energy somewhere else to better benefit themselves, they're just stuck behind a screen comparing themselves to everybody. Because somebody else may have more money, somebody else may have a quote-unquote better life, but rather than improve their life, they are just stuck in a loop. They're just stuck in a loop, wasting time on somebody they could have been, but they didn't put the effort into. That's that is a way to say love, because when you love something, you're gonna put effort into it. Either relationships, projects, yourself. your career, quite literally anything. Maybe even like flowers or hobbies that you enjoy. Like, you have to nurture yourself and nurture others to be better. But that shouldn't be your responsibility to nurture others. For right now, your responsibility should just be yourself. Your love for yourself. Unless you have kids or pets or anything, your responsibility is just yourself and taking care of the ones that you love. And I feel that people need to secure their dreams with this sort of love that they're going to put effort into. The dreams of a life they want to have, the dreams of a career, the dreams of somebody they want to love, blah, blah, blah. They have to put effort into that love, because the moment somebody that you love says something negative about the time you are putting into this thing, you'll just possibly just shut down. Or it'll damage your perseverance and possibly hindrance a moment in when you can achieve that item, person, or project that you want to achieve. But if you don't have enough self-respect and a good enough ego in yourself to appreciate yourself, then you'll just end up faltering. Time will pass, and you'll be stuck, still looking at something as it is a dream, rather than it, at that time, becoming a reality. Thing is, though, how do you build this self-respect, this good ego? At times, people need to be social so that they can feel better about themselves. At times, people need to find hobbies. Meet people that uplift you as you uplift them. Do things that you are proud about. Create something. Make something that you love so that you can love yourself. How else could you increase self-love? I mean, hey, it could be just as simple as just having a routine at looking at yourself in the mirror, saying, "Hey, I did a good job today. I am who I am, but I still love myself. And tomorrow will be a new day, and I can attempt to be somebody who I want to be, and then one day look in the mirror and see that I achieved that." Now, when it comes to relationships, relationships sound hard. I've had a couple of buddies attempt relationships, and they do sound like a hassle. Perhaps somebody cheats, perhaps somebody's unfaithful, somebody just doesn't want to spend time, the feeling of love just isn't there anymore, and it's hard to break out of that relationship at times, I've had a friend where he'll just, it's like he's on like a game show, and he's just slide, 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 until I think, as of right now, it seems like he's found his one, and I'm happy for him. But for other people, it's hard to just slide by a relationship because of the effort they may have put in that relationship. And when they don't get that love back in rotation, I guess is a way of putting it, is that just, oh, it's just a cat. You kind of like lose sight of the relationship, and it becomes unhealthy. Now, once again, I've never been in one, so don't take my word for anything. And I guess I just have short legs because I can't jump on the house. Relationships have to be 50-50, or at least reach a point of 50-50 for them to be healthy. If one person is giving or taking too much, eventually one party is going to blow out. They're going to lose their tires in this race of love and just crash. The person that you love right now will start to look like somebody that you may have never even knew. Somebody that you preserved in your head as somebody that you used to love, but are now just somebody who either ghosted you, they don't care about you anymore, they don't care about the days or the time that you want to spend with them, or the time that they want to spend with you. And now you're just stuck with the decision of maybe getting counseling and working something out, or just up and leaving. Thing is, though, it's a relationship, and that's all it is. Hold on, give me a second. That's probably more than a second, but you don't owe somebody an explanation on why you may leave. Granted, maybe the rules in my head change if it's maybe like a really long full year, maybe not even that. If it's boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever people flow with nowadays, then I feel like that you're allowed to just up and leave whenever the vibes are just gone, or they treat you wrong, etc. When it comes to like custody of children or something, sure, maybe you should give an actual explanation on why you decided to up and leave, or why you just didn't want to do this relationship anymore. But other than that, you really never have to give somebody the right of time of an explanation. Is this the other post I'm missing? I don't even know. Because if you've put all this effort, all this love into a relationship, and they don't give a damn about it until the last second when you're actually threatening to leave, then what is there to save at that point? Because at that point, it might just become a cycle of your first moments when you felt like you actually loved them. And are you really going to stick around and wait for you to get hurt again? I know I finished one of these, but I can still talk a little bit more. I'll do a vehicle next. Yeah, I'll do the vintage car. It's a vintage car, mate. Something that I find interesting about love is, people always say that, there's always more fish in the sea or whatever. But think about that. I feel like that analogy would make sense if everybody could talk to one another. like in the same language is what I'm trying to say. Because sure, there's always another fish in the sea, but what if that one like the actual one person you want, maybe not even want, but like the one person that is your soulmate is somewhere in a whole different country, a whole different, maybe even tribe or something, and they don't speak your language. You may never even meet them. So, at times people say, there's like it's love at first sight, but you have to like really think about it. I feel like some people commit to one another way too easily. And it's under the pretense that this will last forever, an eternity. Feelings won't die, time won't pass, moods won't change. But I feel like people have to actually spend more time with one another. See if you actually enjoy that person's presence when you're just by yourselves, enjoying the company of one another. And hey, if that is true, then, well, you may have just hit the lottery twice. You hit the lottery in being born, and you hit the lottery in finding the person that is for you. But people shouldn't always be questioning their relationship at the exact same time. I know my explanation and my thought process right now is convoluted, but relationships at times do require arguments that are constructive and that are not just hateful words spouted at another because of finances or because of the kids or blah blah blah. They have to be constructive on where you and your partner want to go in the next place. And if you guys just cannot... Well, no, what am I saying? Those are important because it builds growth. It builds strength in the relationship if you guys can argue here and there over something and still come back out of it stronger and more happy that you came to a consensus and you agree on something. Now, at times you may need to agree to disagree, and that's perfectly fine. But agreeing to disagree shouldn't be what breaks that bond of love. If that's what breaks the camel's back, then I don't know what's holding up that love not trying, what am I saying? That love up. Oh man, this rust is killing me. Unfortunate thing is that at times you won't be able to stop yourself from saying something bad to a loved one. One way or another, an accident or purposeful decision will slip, and you may end up saying something hurtful, or you may just quite literally ignore that person entirely. So this isn't limited to relationship, like to romantic relationships. This is like anybody, to your friends, to your family, anybody that you deem as someone you love. You might end up at times hurting that relationship when you get angry with them. But at times that is okay, or it should be okay, because you should be able, as the aggressor or the victim, no. Okay, I don't know about the victim part, but as the aggressor, if you were to get angry at somebody, you should be able to become the better person from that and have the wits to say, I'm sorry. I lashed out, I was having a tough day, or whatever your excuse for that, hopefully, once in a millennium lash out is. But you have to actually show them that you care. You can't just show love, once again, with only material products or a nice dinner or anything. You have to actually be there for that person. Give them the boundaries that they may need at that moment, but let them know that you are there and that you are sorry, you love them, blah blah blah, happy ending. But it is a difficult thing, because in the cases of people that may be abusive or something like that, it can be hard for the victim to ever what was I gonna say? Forgive, especially forgive and forget. Most people will never forget something that you may have said or done, but they may be able to forgive and build a stronger foundation. But you have to show and be able to build that stronger foundation of love. It can't just be one party setting the cement, setting the wood, the planks, the insulation, this whole metaphor. Everybody in the situation has to put their part, put their condolences into what that stronger foundation is going to be. To be honest, I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. I'm just talking about what's on my mind. I will tell you that tomorrow, or whenever I post my next video, is going to be a lot more of a goofy subject. My hint for you is courage. But back to love. Back to love indeed. What was I even going to say? Let's build up more on that self-love. People tend, or I feel like a person can have self-love, the self-respect, and all that showbiz, but at times they may still not show respect to others. Maybe not even people that they love, just others in general. And at times, that sucks, because you're hurting somebody else because you are being ignorant in that moment to whatever effort and love that person put into the thing they are proposing to you. Be it an actual person showing you something, telling you something, arguing with you. People are still putting effort and the thought into what they want to respond with to you. And if you ignore that, you're not showing them the respect that they need, the validation and the belonging of the conversation that they want to have. And with that dismemberance, it's hard to create a circle around the entire world, for instance, where everybody can love each other. But that sounds weird, right? What do you mean, love each other? I'm not meaning quite literally love each other, but show the love and the respect for another's body, their career, their choices, and for their life. And I feel like that shows love enough. If you can look at somebody that you may despise for simple reasons. Obviously, people at times deserve to be despised for the rest of their lives for things that they have done to others. But for like a petty argument or something, for instance, if you can look at that person and still show respect to whatever they were saying, no matter how hurtful or how ignorant their side of it was, then that shows growth between both parties. If they can look back at you and do the exact same thing. How am I missing this little nudge? And I feel like that's how at times we can get the world here and there out of this cycle of disrespect, is just showing plain respect to one another. At times you may hear and see very outlandish things or people saying stuff online, but you don't have to tear them down for maybe saying something that is just abhorrently maybe bad and just should not be said at all. But it could be somebody that grew up in an environment that didn't know how to love correctly, if there even is a correct way to love. But I can say one thing at least, is that putting down another person or party is not going to show love. It's not going to show growth if both parties are just hitting each other down. There has to be some sort of respect, or at least some sort of guidance between explanations of why you think the other person may be wrong, but you still have to show them the decency of why you at least may be correct, or think that their idea, their comments on something is bad, maybe even racist, or just something of the sorts. And in my eyes, once again, that's showing love. You're giving the decency of your time in your day, not your entire day, but like at least the time of day to this person, to at least maybe guide them to a better spark of life. Or you're at least looking at this person that may be arguing with you, and maybe you're saying the bad stuff, but you have that open-mindedness to accept that love, accept that explanation, and even if you don't agree with it, you can say like, oh, okay, well, thank you, but I mean, maybe that's it, just okay and thank you. Thank you for explaining your side, and oh, okay, I understand more of where you're coming from. And then you just move on. You may still keep your ideas, good or bad, but at least you acknowledge that person's explanation, their effort into talking, their effort into what they wanted to convey to you without tearing them down. The moment somebody tears somebody down in an argument, it's never really going to end well unless the other person just ups and leaves. But then people may be called out for being a coward because of that, rather than putting up with somebody that just won't show them the respect to hear their explanation, their side of the thing. That's I would say, quite the idiotic presence of us humans. Is at times we do have a bit too much of an ego, while others don't, and because of that, to build up our ego even further, we just hate or just take away from their presence. Don't give them the equal time of day that they deserve. And I don't know what I'm missing on this card. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Okay, well, there we go. All the door handles. Are we serious? This video has been quite all over the place. At times, I probably didn't even make sense, to be honest, because I was just talking to what's coming on my head, like coming from my head. I'm still missing a door handle. What? But I don't know. It's just kind of like the whole point of like the channel is just me just blabbering. At times, randomness that probably won't even make sense. But if you stuck around this long, hey, I'll take it as you showing love because you're at least intrigued enough to listen to what I'm saying. Perhaps I would say pick and choose what I said and maybe apply it to what you are doing in this day. What am I missing? The wing mirrors? This is also like a new experience for me because I feel like after I finish recording these videos, I feel like my voice gets tired, which is surprising. You know, I didn't think I did not talk that much in my life, and now it's kind of biting me in the back. So, I mean, hey, if you guys have thoughts or anything that maybe you want me to talk about, I'd be gladly intrigued to see what you guys have to say. But you guys can also make your own channel and you know, put out your own thoughts, put out what you're thinking today or tomorrow. I'm still missing a door handle, by the way. I don't know which one. But hey, to show love, you have to show love to yourself first. And there's quite like no way around it. If you can't accept yourself in this world, first of all, seek help, please. You know, you should definitely be able to look at yourself in the mirror and feel validated of who you are today. You should be able to accept that, yes, you may have made mistakes. Maybe life is not that good to you right now. But you are who you are, and you will become something better and something that you can be proud of. But you should already be proud of yourself right now. Be proud of the fact that you are alive. You have the gratitude to look at yourself in the mirror, say I love myself, and be able to start your day. I hope you all have a lovely day. I hope you take care. And I hope you can be able to love yourself, love others, and find a good balance. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one with courage. Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye.